Fathers through building men. It's so important that we always stand up for our fathers. We want you to know we're with you. We're standing behind you 110%. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of A Father's Note, where we promote fatherhood through building men. As always, we're happy that you took the time out of your busy schedule to spend the evening with us. I am your host, Lionel Nelson, and sitting to my left here is my beautiful wife. Say hello, sweetie.
Good evening.
All right. Hey, listen, we're so glad that you took the time out. Do mind, tonight we're going to be talking about divorcing our children. And as we stated on our last episode, our last show, that, I've become an advocate, a stone hard advocate against divorce. My experiences has prepared me with this mindset that I have. I have went through so much, I've seen so much what divorce can do to you, the effect that it not only can have on you and your life, but also the life of your children. But before we get into that, I know I always have to do this. I got to share my mother's book with you, Diary of a Virtuous Wife, How to Live with Infidelity and When Doing It God's Way. What do you have to say about this book, Ray?
Awesome. It's a must read.
For who?
For everyone, really. But it's basically for the women. But I think the men can glean something from it as well. But yes, listen, there are times when infidelity does come into your relationship, but when that does happen to you, or if that happens to you, you have a choice. Mm-hmm. I know the Bible says that we can divorce if, infidelity comes into play. Mm-hmm. However, you have a choice to make. And you can choose to stay there, or you can choose to leave.
Well, but we prefer that they stay there, though, right?
Yes, we do.
As long as it's not volatile. Exactly. And I want to be clear on that. I'm not telling anyone, whether male or female, to remain in a volatile relationship. But I know for me, what was shocking for everybody was when I say, even though you leave, do not divorce, because if you believe that God can change, he can change things. All right. So so anyway, get the book. If you need it, you can DM me and we'll definitely make sure you get the book. And while we're on the road, we also want to promote our dear sister, Dominique Dumerville. She has a book signing that's coming up. The title of her book is Just Between Us Girls. How about talk to them about it, sweetie?
And yes, that's going to take place next Saturday. And it's going to be at South Regional Broward County Library, 7300 Pines Boulevard. It's from noon till 4. Listen, she's going to be there. She's going to be talking about love, sex, marriage, and intimacy from a Christian perspective. So you don't want to miss that. It's going to be amazing.
Sounds interesting. Sounds very interesting. And also, last but not least, we have our Father's Note t-shirts, okay? Look, we'll be so appreciative if you help us, purchase one for the man in your life, for you, the son that is in your life. for the husband, the father,
The nephew.
nephew, the cousin. I'm sure we got some great men in our lives, in your lives. So how about get them a nice gift? It could be a just because gift, okay? Even if it's not a special day, it could be a just because gift.
And listen, the ladies can wear that shirt too.
Yeah.
My sister-in-law or my sister-in-love, let me correct that. Elaine, she killed her design. She redesigned the design.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
bedazzled it, blinged it out. It
yeah,
was awesome. So
yeah, definitely.
ladies, you can wear one too.
Yep, it is. See, I'm sporting one right there myself. That's what it looks like. With a handsome face like mine, yours truly, that's what it looks like. Yeah.
Let's bring our guest on because you acted up.
No, but we got one more thing we need to do here, though. Listen, how about look, if you like what we're doing here, we're gonna ask you to do what? What we want them to do for
We
us,
want
Faye?
them to like, comment, share. Hey, listen, you can start a watch party if you
Yeah,
want to.
no,
Bring
absolutely.
your friends on. They need to hear the messages that we are bringing forth week after week. Okay. They're beneficial, they're helpful to us. So go ahead and like and share these videos. We got to get the word out.
Right. And in addition, I want to say, I want to say that we're really we was blessed, really, our YouTube channel. Some of you may be watching by YouTube. Those of you might be watching by Facebook. And that's fine. We appreciate that. But we really appreciate the support. Our subscription is up to 469 now. I think let me get some applause there. Yeah. Yep, our family is growing. So we're grateful for that. So hey, share the call. But listen, we're gonna bring on our guests now. You've seen him before, you met him before, none other the great and mighty couple, Mr. and Mrs. Ken and Katia Fillmore. Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah. Good evening. Glad to have you. Okay, so let's have this conversation about divorcing our children. All right. Now, what I did is that, I'm a divorcee. Grateful I'm not a divorcee from a child's perspective, but I am a father of 5 children of my own, in whom I have divorced their mothers, and I can tell you that there's some painful things, some things I did not foresee going back 30 or 40 years ago that I see now. And I stated before that if I had the opportunity to do it over again, I would do a lot of things differently, because it's a suffering behind it that we don't see at the time when we make the choice and the decision to divorce. And of course, as I stated, it is not something that God had ordained, nor that He wanted, but this was something that was created by man. So therefore, we cannot expect God to be in supportive of it. But yet, still, why do we do it? Why does this divorce exist today? It is because of the heart of man, as we have already established in the book of Matthew. But I want to bring on some points here. This is some stats that I had pulled off of the internet, Google International, and it says that divorce, this is the effects that it has on children. It causes poor performance, loss of interest in social activity, difficult adapting to change, emotionally sensitive, anger, irritability, feeling of guilt, destructive behavior, and an increase in health issues or problems. And I want to say that to those of you in the audience, if you yourself was a product of divorce, we would like for you to share your comment, share a comment, or if you, even if as a parent and you have seen any of these things in any of your children, how about let us know in the comment about it. Okay. Now, what we have done, though, my guests and I, we took that list, and from along with that list, we compiled our own list of things that we thought were very important and I guess you would say, essential to us, things that I know I had to highlight as far as that I noticed with my children, and I'm sure that they did the same. But before I bring up the list, do y'all wanted to say anything before we go on to the list, or shall I just proceed?
No, go ahead.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, and we do have a comment here. The comment says, let me do this here because we definitely want to recognize the comments. It says that when my dad divorced his ex-wife, it affected me. We had such a strong bond, and I was devastated when they divorced. See, people think that our children are not affected by that decision of divorcing. You know, and now if you're a parent out there who have given thought long term for that right now decision that you made to divorce, and especially if you have children involved, we make that mistake. We have definitely made that mistake. So here's a list in which that we put together. I'm just going to read them off, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about them. What divorce? These are some, and now understand that this list is compiled of what we have experienced as divorcees. Now that, and when I say we, I'm referring to I participated in the act of divorce, and so did my guest, Mr. Ken, participated. Now, wives, we are it. That is it. Ain't no, my wife done told me, man. I'm more afraid of my wife than I am. My wife done told me she ain't having it. So,
Kay say it's only one way out.
Yeah, but let's get into this. Why we have let's get into this. Okay, so this is what we've noticed: abandonment issues, children with their relationships, cause to choose between parents, parental and child dynamic. We notice that divorce alters the structure of the family, as well as it can become a repeated pattern.
Yes.
In life. So let's start off with the first one, abandonment issues. Y'all want to speak to that?
Yeah. When children see when children see divorce and they're involved in the divorce process, they tend to believe it was their fault.
Their fault. That's true.
And because they believe it's their fault, and one parent has to leave the home, they feel abandoned by that parent. Mm-hmm. And when those feelings arise, it opens up Pandora's box. It means there's so many things that can happen when a child feels abandoned. Mm-hmm. You know, they can latch on to the wrong person for the wrong reason. You know, if the female is looking for the love of that father, you know, so 9 times out of 10, she may go out there and find someone older, you know, to fill that void.
Absolutely, especially if it's the father.
Yes, and vice versa. If it, if it was the female, the woman that left in the marriage, and it's a boy at the home. You know, in psychology, they call it the Oedipus Rex syndrome, where a man looks for someone just like his mother.
Right.
You know, so that's what he's going to do. He's going to go out there and find someone just like his mother, but he doesn't realize he's looking to be mothered.
Be mothered. Right.
You know, and it's stunning his growth as well.
And that definitely, to me, causes a breakdown in our kids' psyche, because they can no longer identify what it is that they're really looking for, and they become emotionally
handicapped.
Yeah, that's the right word. Thanks, Vic. You know, so I think we really have to take the time out. You know, not just everyone, but especially in the church. You know, we don't really talk about it, and we don't take the time out to say, you know, these kids need help. And especially in our community, we don't really take the time out to say, okay, I went through a divorce, my kids need help.
Right.
I need help.
Right. And I know, I believe, though, I can say, there's how would I say it? There is someone that we definitely know closely, and they expressed that when their husband left the home, that one of the things that they were definitely looking for in order to help them was a church that not only can minister to them, but also can minister to their children. They
Right.
were looking for a church that had a very strong youth ministry, because they understood that their children were going to need assistance and help, and someone that they can talk to, and need the counseling, and just establish those relationships, that not so much to take their mind off of what has happened, that because it's dramatic. We may not think it is. It's not, but it's very dramatic when children have to deal or see parents whom they both love, and they can't get along. They can't get along. The parents can't get along to the point where they just leave. You know, we need to acknowledge that. And I would say and encourage, though, you know, those couples out there, you couples out there that are considering it or thinking about it, and you have children involved, please give second thought. Really listening to what we are saying about this topic tonight, because listen, I really had to apologize to my children because of what I see. What I see, the pain that my decision put them through, you know, and you know, that decision, yeah, it was good for the moment, but it was, not knowing, though, it was everlasting. It was an everlasting effect on my children. Everlasting.
And when you say, should we stay here because of the children, and don't look at it that way. Look at it as, hey, let's sit down, let's take a step back, sit down, and let's try to work through whatever issues we are facing. Don't look at it as, oh, I'm just staying together for the kids.
Right.
Yes, it is for the children.
Right.
However, it's for you too as well. And guess what? Marriage is a gift from God.
Right.
So who are we really letting down?
That's good. That's good. Hey, we could talk on that for a long time. Let's go to the next bullet point. Children with relationships. Children with relationship. Talk about that for us. Before you call, let me share this. I have one comment I want to share here. It says that as an educator, I can attest that this is very true. It affects all aspects of a child's life, emotionally, academically, socially, etc. This is a true point, and I pray to God that our audience is listening to what we're saying here, because I'm gonna let you I'm gonna get to your point. I'm gonna say this real quick. I'm telling you, when I saw, especially when my children got of age, and they was at the point now they were able to really ask the questions, and they were able to really have that tough conversation. I've seen the pain that my decision put them through, and I really had to ask God for forgiveness as well as them. So I just wanted to throw that out there. But let's talk about children with relationship.
Okay, there's another part to that. It's children who have been in a divorced family are that it's harder for them to build relationships, and they become emotionally unstable. So that's a very fine point, because I've seen it over and over again, because that's actually what I have my degree in is psychology. So I've dealt with that on different levels, where, you know, you see children that don't trust. They don't trust because they didn't see their parents work through the hard part.
Wow, that's good.
They didn't see the long suffering. They didn't see any of that.
And it causes fight. What is it? Fight or
Fight
flight.
or flight.
You know,
Fight or
and most
flight.
of the time they choose flight.
Yeah.
They don't choose to stay in. You know,
Mm.
and it also it causes them to become attention seekers.
Right. Right. And
Wow.
when we were on the last time, I brought up a point about the Hollywood stars. Okay.
Mhm.
If you notice, the Hollywood stars, they'll get married and they'll stay married for 2 or 3 years, and it's easy for them to just go down to the courthouse and get a divorce, and then 2 weeks later they're marrying somebody else.
Right.
They have children in the midst of that, and those children are looking at what their parents are doing, and okay, yeah, it's natural for you to want to be with somebody, but for them it's a learned behavior. So it's also natural for them to say, okay, I'm getting ready, I gotta go, I can't deal
Right.
with this, you know.
Right.
And they're not used to wanting to fight this thing out and work things through in order to make the marriage successful. Marriage is work.
Right.
It is.
See, that speaks to the last bullet point, repeated pattern.
Right.
Right.
They will repeat that pattern. Was in essence, because we're creatures of learned behavior, they will repeat the same cycle. Everything that they see you do, what they learn you do, especially at those critical ages of 6, as we
6 to
pointed
12.
out, 6 to 12 are normally children that are affected the most by the act of divorce, you know. So yeah. Anybody else? You want to say anything else on that, Del?
What I also saw was, and even within our home, those children have a really, really hard time rebuilding in terms of their self-esteem.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we had one of the kids would shy away from even anyone looking at them. It was like such a shame from the marriage failing projected on her, and she took on the responsibility like it was my fault. Maybe I did something.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and it also showed where her relationship was fractured to a point with one of the parents, with her mom, to where she didn't feel loved. No matter how much love was given,
Right.
she didn't feel it. She couldn't receive it. She couldn't accept it because her ability to receive love was fractured, you know. And then I believe
Wow.
studies also have shown, like, after divorce, most mothers have a hard time connecting and reconnecting with their children. And then mothers, as women, we become less affectionate, less supportive, less able to discipline our kids. And if there's any discipline, because during those times I've seen the guilt come in to where the parent felt like, you know what, because of what I put my child through, I'm not going to discipline them. And discipline becomes inconsistent and ineffective. You know, we've seen all of that within our marriage and my husband's divorce in the past with our kids.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, and very destructive behaviors.
So in essence, what the information that you are sharing tonight is what you actually lived with your children.
Yes.
Yes. Still, we're going through it, but we're coming out of it.
Okay.
And this has been how long? What?
We've been married 10 years.
10 years, but yeah, 10
So
years.
13.
13.
Okay. All right. You know, we got a couple of more here to go. Let's see if we can do one more here. I don't want to get on that cause to choose between parents, because if we talk about that bullet point, that's a whole nother session by itself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's talk about parental and child. No, let's talk about parental and child dynamic now, because what's going to happen, you know, again, you all, it has been, I will honestly, I wanted to shorten our sessions, our shows, our episodes, and because I want to really, that's the reason behind it. So we don't do the hour anymore, okay? So we're just only going to go half an hour, and we see that the time is fast. So we have about another 7 minutes of being live. So we're going to see if we can target one more, and then what we'll do, we'll come back in our next episode, if our guest is available, we'll come back next Sunday or the next time we're on, and we will finish out our list here. But let's talk about that choice, that choose between parents. That's a heavy one. But let's talk about
take more than 7 minutes.
It's going to take more than 7 minutes. What about alter the structure family?
Yeah, I would say do the alter of the structure of the family.
Okay.
And then we can come back to parental and child dynamic and the cause to choose between the parents.
Yeah, them two right there are real heavy. They are real heavy topics in themselves. So let's talk about, as you said, we're going to talk about how it alters the structure of the family. Let's talk about that. You want to go with it, Brother Ken?
Yeah. From my standpoint, literally, let's say when you get remarried, okay, we'll go from that point. When you get remarried,
the
children are going back to the old marriage, and they're comparing the two, and they're looking to see, they're trying to find those cracks, to see if they can be pushed back the other way, to go back to the old marriage.
Right.
Literally, we've seen where children have come together and tried to plan how to break that new marriage up.
Come on.
You know? Yeah. Your precious baby.
Yeah.
Hey, we laughing.
But it's real.
We went through that too. You know, man,
it was even on the wedding day.
No.
Wow.
The wedding day. They didn't want to walk down the aisle. They didn't want to be a part.
Yeah.
But
and you know what, too? They felt like they were betraying the other parent.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And then also it does cause them to, it's kind of like, I don't want to go into it, one of the other bullet points, but like one of the things that I noticed with us is that when I said alters the structure of the family, let's say especially on days of on holidays, you know, when it's Thanksgiving, when it's Christmas, when it's birthday celebrations, and you know, things like that, you know, especially Christmas and Thanksgiving. Now, especially near adults, well, do I go spend Thanksgiving with dad, or do I go spend Thanksgiving with mom? Do I go spend Christmas? And that was a thing that we had to really navigate around, because we had how many children in the house? What, 5, 6 in the house? Six in the house at one time. And there were times with the oldest ones, we had to kind of wait, or either even if we go ahead and open gifts, they just had to come and open their gift on their own, you know, instead of we would do it together, you know, things like that. They're so,
because they didn't want to wait until the others came over to open their gifts. That means they would be waiting almost half a day.
Right.
So you know how children are so super excited about opening their Christmas gifts. So they're ready as soon as they wake up, you know, 7 a.m. So that was an issue.
You finished?
No, yeah.
Yeah. And so what I mean about that, here it is, we're striving to create a family-oriented environment, you know, where we're all in it together. And that's how we raise our children, even though, you know, I had 5, she had 3, and we brought them together. But the way that we have reared them up, you really couldn't tell whether or not they was sisters and brothers, blood, shall I say, blood sisters and brothers. But however, though, it was still those tangible, those little things that would come up in our relationship, in our home, that we had to really deal with, especially you're talking about when they, man, let me tell you, there were so many times some of my children, they'll go with their mother. And then when they come back over here, we had to undoctrinate them and, restructure them. No, you might do that over there, but we ain't doing that over here. You know, it was just so much, man. It was just so much. You know,
had to dip them back in the water.
Yeah. Hey, so true, man. So true. You know, I mean, we can really get into this, but we're gonna have to end it right there, people. We're gonna have to end it right there. So, 'cause we want you to come back next week. All right, we want you to come back next week, and we hope that you've gotten something. Hey, put something in the comment. Let us know your experience. Let us know what the effect that it may have had on you. We did see some comments there, and we thank you so much. Please don't remember to share and like. Not only, but you know what I'm gonna ask you all to do? Go to our YouTube channel. If you're not watching on YouTube, go to our YouTube channel there and support our YouTube channel. Like, share, and if you haven't subscribed, we're gonna ask you that you will subscribe. Okay, so we're going to get ready to get out of here. But before we go, listen, I just want to just promote a couple of our other people that we know, that friends and associates that we know that have podcasts, such as my dear brother, Mr. Aaron Gibbons. He has Real Talk Podcast. He comes on every week on Thursdays at 7 p.m. So we would ask that you would go and check him out. Great content over there. I like the brother is good. Let me just say it like that. The brother is so good. And then also we have Let's Talk Marriage with Elias and Taisha Carvel. They're good content as well, even though I have to stay on that Taisha at times, but she's good people though. Great content. I would not promote them if I didn't feel that the content that they share on these platforms are very good. But hey, listen, will you be able to come back next week?
Yes, we're here.
Hey, I appreciate that. Listen, everybody, we thank you so much for your time, and we hope that you've gotten something out of this podcast tonight, and we'll see you next week. God bless. Good night, everybody.
Hi.
Lionel Nelson here, and welcome to A Father's Notes, promoting fathers through building men.
It's so important that we always stand up for our fathers. We want you to know we're with you. We're standing behind you 110%.